And anyway, but then I got thinking about it, and the book was called Man's Search for Meaning. And the question I asked myself is, what is the connection between purpose, between intention, and meaning? What is it that connects purpose and meaning? The meaning we make. You guys were exploring meaning yesterday, right? This is yes? This is no? Yeah? What is it that connects purpose and meaning? And so I was pondering this question last night. Anyone got any ideas about that? I mean, that wasn't a well-formed question. That wasn't as good as, what are some of your ideas about what it might be that could connect purpose and meaning? But it's kind of a tricky one. What are your thoughts?
Kind of thinking out loud as I go. In some ways, the meaning we ascribe things to limit what purposes we can have.
Absolutely. Yeah, you know, if I say, this is a chair, it's for sitting on, then that precludes me from using it for any of the wide variety of other things that you can use it for. Because actually, it's a very multifunctional. I'm actually using it as a table at the moment. When I could use it as a lion taming device. And
Part of the house for children?
Sure. As a paperweight? Yes, it's quite an elaborate paperweight for large pieces of flip chart paper if the hurricane blew the windows out. So there are many things that it can be. But when we say, no, but it is a chair. Aristotle talked about this, and he said, but we know that it is a chair because it has the form of a chair. It was like, yes. This idea that there are universal forms out there, and chair is one such form, and dog is another such form, and fish is another such form, and television set is another such form, and these forms exist, and this is an example of that form.
Equally, you could say it's a chair because it's not a dog.
Well, that might be, I'm not a philosopher, but that might expose you to what's called a logical fallacy. It's, I'll dream up an example of, another example of that for you guys.
All dogs have 4 legs, that has 4 legs,
Therefore it must be a dog, yeah. But no tail.
Maybe it comes from the other man.
Maybe. Yeah, it's a cat. So I was thinking about it, and the more I thought about it, the more I didn't know what the answer was. And then it suddenly came to me. I thought, what if the thing that connects purpose and meaning is story? Because in order to know what something means, it's interesting. I have some friends that are going through some financial difficulties at the moment. Well, actually, they've been going through financial difficulties for about a year, but they were in denial about it. And then they woke up to the reality of the situation, and now they're a bit scared. And so I was talking to them about it, and I said, well, you know, I said, sometimes for me, the things that have happened in life that seemed like the worst thing that could possibly happen, I've looked back at them a year or two later, and they've turned out to be the very best things that have happened to me. They may have been uncomfortable at the time, but actually, in terms of the direction in my life then took, and the things that became possible for me as a result of dealing with them, those turned out to be some of the best things that happened to me in life. And I said to her, this thing that you've been worrying about until now, that you've been stressing about and frightened about, what if it were one of those things that you'll look back on in months or years to come as having been a really powerful contribution to your life? You know, the thing that really made a big difference. And she thought about that. And I was reminded of something I once heard Richard Bandler talking about. He said he was talking to someone, and they said, you know, one day I'm going to look back on this and laugh. And he said, why wait? Which is a really good point. Why wait? But of course, when I've looked back on those things which seemed terrible at the time and said, you know what, actually that was really good, what was I doing when I did that?
Creating a narrative.
I was creating a narrative.
Reframing.
I was reframing. I was creating meaning. I was making new meaning for something. And so now, if ever something particularly horrible happens, I just assume that it's actually something really good in disguise. That I'm going to look back on it and consider it to be some amazing gift that I've been given. And a strange thing happens, which is that I don't necessarily feel good about it in that moment. I can still be, my marriage broke up a few years ago. And that felt really uncomfortable and painful at the time. But I also knew that it was a really good thing. That it was, that I would look back on it as having been a defining and powerful change point in my life. And so I was able to hold those two ideas simultaneously. And yeah, there was still grieving to do, and there was still pain and that sort of thing. Sure, whenever there's a big change like that, those are at least possibilities. But I found that it created a sense of peace and comfort, knowing that I would find meaning in it and find positive fruits from